Now, author and business journalist Susie Welsh believes she's discovered a way to solve the problems we face in our everyday lives. She calls it the 10-10-10 formula, and it works thus. Every time you find yourself facing a difficult decision, ask yourself the 10-10-10 question. What would the consequences of my decision be in 10 minutes, 10 months and 10 years? Sounds simple enough, but should we really... Well, she says it does. Do you think about the here and now, or do you think of the long-term consequences?
You know, I'm a rusher-inner and a plower-inner, and I just go in and do things. And my mother always says, you never think before you do anything. So I don't take the... I wouldn't know how to do that 10, 10 and 10. So I wish I had. You know, when I look back on my past, there's so many things I should have thought about and thought, right, not mainly 10 minutes, because that's gone, hasn't it? By the time you've sat down and got a cup of tea, that's gone. But 10 months, 10 years, and thought, if only I thought, do you know what? If you do it now, in 10 years' time, it'll all work out all right. But you don't do that, though, do you? Because you only think of here and now, especially when you're young. It doesn't occur to you to think, well, this is the right thing to do now. It may hurt, and you're going to really go through some bad times, but you know, in 10 months and in 10 years' time, you're going to say that was a... If I'd have done that, you know, with my marriage and everything, I would have got...
wasted 10 years.
I wouldn't have wasted. I would have got married again, and you know what I mean. So, but I'm a rusher in. I go, oh yes, okay, I'll do that, and then I regret.
I don't think that's what you were doing. I think you were trying to avoid doing something, anything at all, because you know, you knew that if whatever you had done before you were ready to do it, or before you were forced to do it, then that 10 minutes, you would have known that 10 minutes would have been a nightmare. It might have been a nightmare in 10 months, and so you didn't do anything. And then, you know,
but
10
that's
years
wrong,
has
isn't
gone.
it? What a waste.
Of course it's wrong. It's totally wrong.
Yeah. So what do you do, Carol?
Well, I think you have to just go for it. I honestly think that there's no such thing as a wrong decision. I think you can only make decisions. And once you've made it, that's the decision. You've made it. Live with it and get on with it. Because whatever happens, you know, you can reverse certain decisions and you can change your mind about stuff. But most of the time, you should just go along with it and stop fussing about what might happen, what might have happened.
Sometimes it's difficult, because I have completely two sides, or well, more to my personality, and there's some things that, like relationships and stuff, I do always think about the consequences of the long term, and I get really stressed about it. And I have this thing where I start projecting into the future, and even career decisions. I can't be impulsive, and it's thinking, if I say no, I should say no. I know I should say no, but then that might happen, and that might happen. And like with relationships before, well, if I end this now, then what's going to happen, and then I get myself all in a complete state. But if it's a case of, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, should you go home or should you go to that bar around the corner? I wish I did think of the consequences, and that's when I just plow in.
But that's when you can't make decisions, because the first thing to go when you have an alcoholic drink is your decision-making cell. Yeah. That's it. So that's a bad time to try and think about decisions.
I mean, it's a very structured way, that 10-10-10, to think. I mean, it sounds like Lisa Maxwell's vital statistics.
Yeah. Yeah, but you do it the right way, because you do it on the big things in life, you know, the important things in life. You actually, and I'm surprised.
I mean, God, it's not always the right decision, Sherry. Sometimes it's totally the wrong decision.
But I'm surprised at you, because you're
overthinking.
Well, I always think of you as being so doolally, and yet
you think of me as being doolally.
Oh my pot and kettle.
If Sherry Houston thinks you're doolally, you have lost the plot.
But Carol, do you never think of, you know, long-term consequences of your actions? Because you always strike me as you're a very measured person.
Well, no, I do think things through as much as possible. But if you overthink something, it becomes too complicated. You know, you can write a great big long list here of why you should do something, and another one here about why you shouldn't. And it doesn't solve the problem. You think, oh, it shouldn't. You just got to go for it and make the decision. Because, you know, a lot of people say to me, do you not think about what your relationship might be like in 10 years' time? And yes, I do think about that. But what is the point of that? You know, I could say, well, you know, our relationship might be more difficult in 10 years, but What do I do? What do I do? Do I make a decision now and say, right, well, let's just leave it at that because I can't deal with what might happen in 10 years' time? It probably won't, or it might do, but I'll deal with it when it does.
And I think that's a very healthy way of thinking, but unfortunately, that's taken away from some people. I can't be as sort of measured as that because everything takes over and I just start to sort of panic and stress and make myself ill.
Don't you think a lot of it has to do with gut feeling as well? Because it's all very well, like you said, you know, writing down a list. I kind of live by the, if it feels right, it is right. If it feels wrong, 9 times out of 10, it is wrong.
That's right. How do you know if you've got
it's just a feeling just in here.
Know.
And that's to do with relationships or decisions or, you know, or even your behaviour sometimes. You know, if you're acting in a certain way to try and fit in certain circumstances and part of you, you know, is thinking, what are you doing? And you step back and take a look at yourself and think, no, that's not right, just be yourself.
But sometimes your gut feeling could be wrong. I mean, that, you know, it can lead you into...
What's right and wrong? Who says?
All right, then, all right.
Otherwise, you don't do anything at all.
All right, have you ever made a decision, then, and it's been wrong?
Probably.
Probably? Well, then what do you do then?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say that was the wrong decision because it was the decision and I made it. So therefore, I've got to live with that decision and make the best of what I've done.
And then you make another decision.
Yeah, what is the point of me sitting at... Yeah, I passed my 11 plus. I didn't go to grammar school through choice. Oh, that was the wrong decision. I really should have gone because then maybe I'd be a lawyer now. No, I'm not a lawyer. I'm sitting here and, you know, I'm forever grateful for that. And that might have something to do with the fact that I made a wrong decision.
Is this something to do with that you're always right? You're never
Maybe. Maybe.
No, I'm not. I'm not always right.
Well, we are right on time now for one last break.